Well, joining me now is Dr. Cathy Powell, Associate Professor in Public Law at the University of Cape Town. Doctor, welcome. Look, we are trying to ascertain, firstly, the importance, of course, of the Speaker's position. Where in the line of reporting actually does she fall in terms of the rule of Parliament? And I guess the bigger question is then, what is the process that needs to follow since her leave announcement? Will the Deputy Speaker take over her duties, especially since her leave is under a cloud of corruption allegations stemming from about 3 years ago?
Evening. The Speaker counts as the head of the legislature. So it's a very important position. It's actually the head of the only directly elected body in South Africa. It counts in the same way as the President is the head of the executive and the Chief Justice is the head of the judiciary. So it's a major post. It's understandable that there's all this confusion about whether she can just go on special leave, self-declared, or whether she needs to go through the rules process. There is nothing that would give her special powers as against other MPs where leave is concerned. I understand, in fact, from some of the footage that you've just shown, that it has become something of a convention within Parliament for MPs to claim they're on leave, something that is not provided for in that form in the rules. So if it's not allowed for other members of Parliament, it would not be allowed for her. I'm assuming that special leave would be paid special leave, which is another problematic aspect, because MPs are meant to be actually doing their job in Parliament, and if they're not doing their job in Parliament, they should not be paid for it. You know, that would be an issue I'd be interested to follow up on. But as to your question as what happens in her absence, the Deputy Speaker has to take over and do the job that she was doing up till now. That is a matter that's completely independent of the reason for which the Speaker is herself not in Parliament.
Now, Doctor, I mean, we're trying to understand who is her principal in terms of granting her this leave?
It would be the legislature itself. And this is something that would just take a principled and clear application of the rules. If, as I understand from your own interviews, if this particular provision has been abused in the past, if other MPs have been claiming special leave, which is basically code for I'm not coming to work for a few days, then possibly a custom has built up that needs to be addressed and redressed, because it is not fair to the people of South Africa who have elected the MPs and who are paying their salaries. But no, the Speaker does have to follow the rules just as anybody else would have to, and it is the legislature as a body which appears to need to grant that leave.
Absolutely. Now, Doctor, I'm sure you heard also from reactions from the various political parties there who were pretty adamant that, of course, the rules of Parliament do not grant her, the opportunity to grant herself this leave. So latest reports are also indicating that she has since applied for an interdict against the NPA. Also around Parliament, we know that the DA has filed a motion of no confidence process or application thereof since these developments. So we're not quite sure which is to supersede the other. What is supposed to happen in this regard?
They can all happen in parallel. Parliament is allowed to remove any speaker under Section 52 of the Constitution. The only special requirement is that the majority of the members of the House must be present to vote her out, so that can happen. At the same time as she's bringing the interdicts that she wants to use to stop the criminal procedure organizations from carrying out what they see as their duty. I can't comment on whether that interdict is viable or not. And at the same time, I can't remember what the third one was that you mentioned, but they are all separate events that can, in parallel, be carried out.
All right, Doctor. Now, most notable is the fact that she announced the special leave just 3 parliamentary sitting days before the National Assembly actually rises on the 29th of March for elections with that 8-week constituency period. Should we read much into the timing of her leave announcement, especially when she says she has not been informed of her imminent arrest?
Well, Again, we don't know what this term special leave means because it doesn't seem to exist in the way that it's being used. If it means that the MPs decided, I'm actually just not working for a bit, it means that the Speaker is also not going to do the canvassing or the work that she would be expected to do as an MP for her party. In South Africa, the Speaker is supposed to be neutral, but case law has held that she can also continue to be an active member of her party and even be in the leadership of her party. So one would expect her to now carry out the job that all MPs are going to be doing when they go into the canvassing period. When she says she's going on special leave, we don't know how much of her job she plans not to do. And I think the question as to whether that leave is legitimate and whether she can be paid for it is something that might have to be decided at a later date. It's really the ANC that would be affected by a complete no-show by the Speaker at this stage.
And Doctor, don't you feel that the President is supposed to, at least by now, have communicated something around this decision?
We would expect a wee bit more intervention, given that the Speaker is the head of the legislature and also a prominent member of the ANC. So in both capacities, you would expect the President to at least make a statement affirming the importance of the integrity of Parliament and perhaps make a statement on the particular allegations against the Speaker. I think the most important one for our purposes from a constitutional perspective would be measures by the President to try to support and protect Parliament from any distrust that may be building at this stage.
All right, Doctor, thank you so much for that clarity there. Associate Professor in Public Law at the University of Cape Town, Dr. Cathy Powell.